You have to reincarnate again. No, I don't think so.
Okay, let's start with the astral travel subject. What exactly is astral travel? Do we need like some kind of drugs or something to achieve that point, or so? What is that in your point of view?
Oh, well, astral traveling for me, I'd like to simplify it because it really is about the focus of the internal self focusing on something. Say, for example, you are in love with someone or you thinking of that person very deeply. Your thoughts go to where that person is. So in a sense, you already are doing astral traveling without even being aware of it. So you can do it within your consciousness or subconsciousness. I don't think using drugs is advisable to do that because you might not come
Yeah,
back.
actually, they are advising a lot of different things to go to that stage.
Yeah, 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 truly.
Yeah, is
But
this
yeah, basically, it's basically like a form of remote viewing, just in
remote?
you biolocate there.
Okay, so is remote viewing, real?
Yes, I think so. Again, it's the same thing. If you're thinking of someone that you love or you have a lot of emotion connected to, you do actually sense that person's experience or you sense that object that you're looking for. So I practice it a lot uh, because I investigate things. And so, yeah, I would say it does exist. It is
Does
something that is.
exist. Okay, okay. So how do you get to that point? So what do you do? Like meditation or something, or how?
Well, first of all, you find your calmness before you do anything. Being calm helps you to be able to manage yourself when you do the exploration of the subject or the object, which is person or object or place, location. And then it would require you to have absolutely nothing that would deter you from that specific viewing or that direction in which you're thinking. This is why I'm saying love or emotion that's in it to a person or an object is something that motivates the projection of being able to see even clearer. So yeah, it's about that state of emotional energy is used sometimes
Okay,
when I do
okay.
it.
Is it anyway connected to the diet or something like that? Or
Well, if you live in a clean way, if you eat clean, I would assume, it's not really related to anything specific. I'm not a vegetarian. I'm not a just a one. I'm not going in any of those. I eat
okay, okay.
basically balanced, yeah,
So it's
meals.
just about our mind
Yeah, it's about your intention actually, how you feel.
intentions. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Really good point. So talking about that, what exactly is the third eye? The pineal, is this the pineal gland or something else?
Well, the third eye is the viewport through which you are using the chemicals in it to be able to do the projection. It's like a lens through which you are able to see, but there is no such one specific spot.
There's no
You can,
physical point.
yeah, it's a
Yeah,
gland. The gland helps you to be able to experience your internal sight.
yeah. Also about the consciousness stuff and the void, why do astral travel people talk about the void and being in the void or something like that? Why are they all afraid of it? What exactly happens during astral travel? Okay, contains
What
lot of
happens
small
during
contains lot of small questions in that.
that's 100%. I like impromptu. I like shooting from the hip. So basically, let me cover the one question that you asked is there's a lot of fear of the unknown. So people who do astral traveling or whatever are normally afraid of what they might experience. It's like traveling to a foreign country, by
Mhm.
yourself. So
Yeah, yeah.
you're gonna feel a little nervous. But the void in itself is not a specific location or a locale or a dimension. It is more a space or a type of etheric,
Emptiness, right?
not even an emptiness, just a place that is devoid of things that are here. So I think this is why they call it the void.
Yeah,
I've not actually called it the void myself, but I've
the
heard it being mentioned.
the very word is strange. It's like from some kind of movie. Oh, the void, you should be
Yeah,
afraid
you
of
know
it.
what? It's funny that you say that because most people think it's like Stranger Things, they think it's like the upside down world when it's not. It's completely the other
Yeah,
way.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
We become afraid of things that we don't understand. So
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
people just are afraid of the first time traveling, stuff like that.
I think so, yeah. I do. I think
Okay,
so.
there's a Bible verse about a silver cord. They are saying some kind of physical stuff is attached to our physical body, something like that.
Yeah.
So what exactly is silver cord?
Well, okay, the silver cord it's not so simple to explain. So I will explain it as best as I can. It really is a frequency that is within your spine. There's a lot of fluid in it, which is like amniotic fluid inside, like where a baby is born inside a belly. There's an amniotic fluid around there, which is electric. I would call it electrical. It's like the water that goes in a battery, to put it like that. And
Okay.
that,
I
so,
actually have
so
a cell here. I actually
well,
have a
yeah,
cell
there you
here.
go.
Okay,
Pretty
okay.
much. So, okay, the silver cord is a form of, well, obviously roots you here in this realm. If you do astral traveling, I know Robert Monroe has mentioned the silver cord as being useful. Um, I have practiced the astral traveling and I was not aware of the silver cord. Maybe it was behind me, maybe I didn't see it.
Yeah,
But
maybe.
anyway,
Yes, right,
yeah,
right.
it's weird. So I do think it's something that can be programmed to be used as an anchor point, I would say. But
Right,
it is
right,
definitely connected to the spinal fluid more
right.
so, yeah.
I see, I
Yeah.
see. So, like, what connects our consciousness to physical body exactly? So,
An agreement, an
and
agreement, a contract.
is the
That
so
is the
is there like
sorry, go ahead.
is there any like attachment between these two, or what's happening?
Well, contrary to what people believe that they're locked into the body with the cord, it's not exactly like that. The cord is just something that adds to the electrical frequency inside that holds the soul and the spirit in balance with one another. They are all interrelated like cogs of a wheel, but they are not physically attached to one another. What really holds you in your body is an agreement which you have before you come into this world. You
Hmm.
have to agree to come into this body, the vessel.
Right, right. I think this goes with the reincarnation concept, right? We chose to.
In a sense,
Yeah. Okay. Later on, we'll talk about that. Right now, I have another question related to this subject. Okay. In
yeah.
one of Ken Wheeler's videos, he said our body is like a radio. Your physical
Mm-hmm.
radio, and it picks up the frequency. That frequency is our consciousness. So,
Yes,
is this analogy right?
it is a correct analogy. Yes,
Right, right,
exactly.
right. It's very similar to what you are saying right now, like wheels
Yes,
working together and just an agreement, not physical something attached. Okay,
right.
right, right, right. What
Mhm.
are chakras? Are they like seal or something? Um, yeah. So how do you see that?
Well, chakras, I always see it as energy points or nodal points, which is energetic. It relates to, let's call it, the whole concept about junk DNA.
Yeah, yeah. The scientific
Then,
theories, they said it's useless,
yeah,
useless
yeah,
data in our gene.
useless. Yeah. But what I want to say is the chakra points are essentially energetic points that are representations of, prior to this world, the entire building blocks of the human form do come from seven races prior to this world, to this current reality that we're existing in. So each and every one of them do represent a marker of the race that was there before. However, it is, let's call it a subset of electromagnetic frequencies that hold you in, that you are using. Think of it as something that you correlate in this world. You need to have a stop sign or a robot where it's red, green, or yellow to tell you when to go, stop, go, right, or whatever. It's like that.
Right. Okay.
It's regulators.
So it's not essentially like a seal or a bad thing.
Not really. I mean, I've never actually experienced or encountered it with what I've been doing within myself or with others, that it's a bad thing. But as you know, everything in the world can be hijacked, including the silver cord. Everything can be hijacked, right? So it is, you must just look after yourself at all times. You have to.
Right. So like few months ago, I was looking into a lot of spiritual concept, especially the reincarnation stuff. He said like these chakras are like a seal and we have to remove them. That's why I asked this.
That's quite dangerous to do that, actually, because I know that it affects the thyroid. And I've dealt with someone that did that, and they had thyroid issues because of it. Their balance was affected.
Okay. Also, in the do you remember the first Matrix movie when Neo gets out of the pod, he immediately plugs out all the things in his head,
and he was plugged in.
Yeah. So I thought like maybe it's like a cord that's plugged in all the seven sides.
I also thought that one time, but I didn't actually see any openings to it, though. That was interesting that you bring it up there.
Lalita Karali also mentioned something like this one time. She mentioned a book. I don't remember the book name and stuff, but the author is actually like a yogi. He does all the chakra related spiritual stuff. So what he said is his chakra, it's like spinning or doing something like that, and he's physically experiencing a lot of pain because of those chakras. So something is really fishy about these things. Something's going on.
With regards to the chakras thing, I think so. Basically, it is really something that assists you to regulate your physical form. It shouldn't dominate your spiritual form. Nothing ever should ever dominate you. So it's like looking at clothes. You know that if you are going to pass over, you wouldn't need to have clothes anymore, right? So it's the same as looking at the chakras in that way. That's how I look at it. It can, like I said, it can be hijacked pretty much like everything else.
Right. In your interview with Lalita Karoli, you said something about removing the snake-like thing.
Oh yeah, she mentioned about the snake. Basically, what I understand from it was it's okay. So it's also a little bit of a complex answer to give to you about it. First of all, your silver cord, or that spinal fluid, which is like a serpent in your spine, okay, like the rod, okay, in Mercury, can, if you do so, because it generates a lot of energy or electricity, let's call it that. If you do certain exercises, things like, for example, Kundalini yoga, or things that really are traumatic against you, things that make the energetic fluid inside of the spinal cord traumatized, it tears open whatever space is inside of your field. And like any parasite, it can come into your body and it can basically emulate spinal cord, which will look like a serpent, or it could go inside of your body, any other place, wherever the tear has taken place. So This is not against any person that does any particular thing like the Kundalini, but it's like taking an electrical cable and shocking yourself. And then there where you've shocked yourself, there's a tear in your skin. So it's going to be open for something else to come in to have its way with you. So therefore, in her instance, perhaps, and I wasn't part of that experience with her, with what she experienced, I would assume that it presented then a snake-like entity that had tried to emulate alongside the spine.
Right.
And so that's why she said she had perhaps suggested that that is how she got rid of it, by removing it from the crown.
Yeah.
Any parasite can come into the physical form and in the spiritual form. It's very possible.
Okay. Can you touch on these entities? So what are these exactly?
These entities, well, you get like a lot of entities. I mean, basically what you need to understand is the physical realm where you are existing within your immediate reality, where you exist in, can be susceptible to things that could come to you. It can be disincarnated spirit people that have passed away, that have been angry, that have never found rest, and they then hand themselves over to their needs and their wants and whatever, and they then can become demonic, which then that is why people believe that they see demons or things like that. Then we look at the intra-dimensional, which are things that exist within the realms. When you do astral work, that you'll see a lot of entities around in each realm. Some of them can be malevolent and some can be benevolent. It really is how you handle yourself when you go through this.
So are they all evil, or like some of them like just don't care about us and they just do their own thing?
Not always, no. Sometimes you'll find some entity that might present itself to be in the shape of an alien that is well known, like for example, a greys or reptiles, which everyone's very triggered by the word reptile.
Yeah, especially the gray ones, the ones with the big head and tiny. People, if someone really interested in the alien stuff, if they saw something like that, they will definitely go towards it and talk with it.
Exactly. So basically what I'm trying to say is if you are able to manage your consciousness, your thinking process, you regulate how you are within reality logically, then if you are not afraid of certain things, those things won't come to you. It's like if you're, it's like mosquitoes. Worried about it, they're going to come to you all the time. If you worry about it all the time, it's going to come to you all the time.
Yeah,
that's just how it works.
Almost like they sense or fear.
Yes, exactly, pretty much.
In one of the videos, Eric Dubé said he used to practice all the yogic stuff, the yoga poses in morning times, and being vegetarian and strictly following the diet for years and stuff like that. So one day he does the yoga poses and stuff like he normally does every day, and he experienced I'm not sure what it's called, something like the pulse or something that he experienced through his spine. So yes, definitely something happens if someone follows this yoga stuff regularly. Just have to be mindful about these entities.
Yes.
Right.
Or actually just, the only way you are tormented by anything, even demonic or entity like, is if you are afraid. If you have it within your thoughts that you're going to expect something to come at you, then it will. Sometimes, very, 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 very rarely, entities can come without you, even if your thoughts were okay. They can come, but it's very rare that it happens. They don't just come for no reason. They come if there is, because of your fear. Your fear sends out a frequency which draws it to you.
Right.
So what I'm trying to say is sometimes I think humanity is its biggest enemy in terms of the traumas that are happening in this realm, because of how people think.
talking about the spiritual entities, what exactly happens when we pass?
When we pass. Okay,
Yeah.
so basically, so the way that we pass is, or pass over, the soul that, okay, so but before I can explain that, I need to explain to you that we have a soul and a spirit. The
Mm-hmm.
spirit is, so okay, so your physical form starts to disconnect from the soul. The soul has to then come back into the spirit, and then the spirit makes itself ready to leave. You can exit this realm in two ways, really. One is, like I mentioned before, and I think I'm going to bring it up again much more clearer this time, is by exiting from the from your, you can exit from your head, your chest, or your stomach. Some people do that. They sit up and then they leave. I propose another way, which is not common, and not everybody seems to understand it very clearly. So I'm going to explain it quickly. I
Okay.
propose that the way to exit can be done in a different way, in the opposite way, where you are able to implode back into yourself, upon yourself, and then able to go out through this realm, and you won't ever come back. You won't even go through a white light. You'll go through nothing other than through a door, which will take you straight into the void. And that requires you to show a sense of connection to yourself, kindness. You must be able to look at yourself in the mirror and not hate yourself. You must be able to have good relations with as whoever you can with people, so that you are able to connect with the electrical current that is where your heart was. If your heart starts to stop while you're passing away, it's still charged with electrical current, electromagnetic energy, and you're able to then use that as a vortex to go out. That's how you should be doing it. That's how I tested it out. I tested it twice.
Wow. Okay.
And
Okay. Can you explain that part? How did you test it?
okay, so basically I did astral travel by doing that implosion work. You know, you would normally do astral travel going out like that. I went back into myself, and what I did was I allowed myself to trust myself, so that I'm able to access the electrical current of my heartbeat, okay, which is electrical current. It spins like a vortex, or there's no real, I can't explain to you how it spins, but it does spin, and you fall back into yourself by
Mm.
allowing yourself to trust yourself, and to be able to, like I said, face yourself with kindness, and when I did that, I was able to sink back down and able to then twist myself out through the black sun
Okay.
and out, and I came back in again. I didn't go all the way out though, if otherwise I wouldn't be able to come back, because once you're out, you're out.
Oh,
But I
okay.
did
Okay.
tested it twice.
Okay. Good to
Yeah.
know that. So while we are passing, we shouldn't be afraid of anything and be mindful
Oh,
and do not
yeah.
go anywhere other than the void. Yeah, is that right?
Well, you know, when you go into the void, I did have a near-death experience that took me straight in there. This is how I discovered it the first time. Okay. And what I discovered was, like I said, I didn't know it was called the void. I didn't call it the void. I called it something else. I called it that.
We should give it a friendly name.
I wanted
No.
to give it a friendly name, like touching the face of the original creator, really. It's like coming home, sort of thing.
Okay, okay.
Um,
We should just call it like log out of the matrix.
yeah, you log out. Yeah.
Yeah,
Escape.
it sounds simple and not so threatening word. Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't sound so ominous. I agree.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a very interesting experience. I connected very deeply there, and I came back, and there was no trauma coming back either.
Was it peaceful during that situation?
Yeah, it
Did,
was
did,
very peaceful. I experienced as if I was having it's, when when you've been in a room with a lot of electrical smog and you're suddenly out of it and you're in nature, there's this way you feel
Peaceful.
that mind, like
Yes, yes.
that's how I felt. It
Yeah,
felt like there was relief and peace, and I was having a communication as well. I was having
yeah,
deep
yeah.
conversations. Yeah.
Yes, really, really nice. While looking into reincarnation stuff, I read few near-death experiences. Few people record their experience after getting out of the near-death. Most people were like seeing angels and white lights, white tunnels, and few of them even saw their beliefs, their gods
Mm-hmm.
during that time. So why are
Mm.
all these people seeing angels and all these entities?
Well, this is
So
what's amazing. I love that question because I could explain to you that if you go into any particular belief system, let's say you're in a religious belief system or anything like that sort, you become accustomed to wanting to live and thrive within the mystery of the idea. So the mind of man wants to continuously try to figure it out and complete that puzzle of that mystery. Um, it's something to do with the way that people believe in the religious icon or the religious idea that lets people color in the blank or fill in the blank of that idea. So basically it works on faith. So if someone says something to you like, okay, but don't worry, if you do this, it's gonna rain, or if you do this 6 times, you'll get this or this or that. And you think, how must I do this? And you keep focusing on it obsessively, focusing on that idea. You start to complete it with your mind. Your mind starts to complete that idea. And before you know it, you've created an idea of an icon of any particular religious or belief system in itself, which is how Yaldabaoth or the demiurge and the Gnostics have come about. People have contributed in bringing that entity into this reality by believing the mystery and filling in the blank
so
of that mystery.
so you are saying people manifested those
Yes.
entities, beings.
I'm saying that people give the template for anything to just copy it and
Okay,
present itself.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, and they come into reality, and these people see what they created when they pass.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
really, really interesting.
Watching, yeah, if you were afraid of the hell fire or whatever, you're gonna see fire. Literally, you
Wow.
will.
Those people who went to hell during near-death experience, they will be like, they will be
Exactly.
saying, I read this line in this religious book, and then I saw this exact being when I went there.
Yes.
uh,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
and then they will keep saying these things again and again, over and over again, and then converting more people into their religion. It's just a big
100%.
circle. It's happening over and over again.
Yeah.
Uh,
Pretty much.
and about the reincarnation cycle, your opinion, why is reincarnation happening? Is this like a good thing in any way?
Okay. So reincarnation, I think, is basically, I think it's sadistic, because as you mentioned, what's the point? I mean, why do all of these things and then suddenly have your mind wiped to
Yeah,
come
yeah.
back to do it over again, like you have no idea who you are or anything like that? So I agree with you on that point. We did discuss that.
Yes, yes.
However, what I want to add to it is reincarnation is it's like a type of agreement where you didn't obviously take part in that agreement, but when you pass over, when you die, your soul and spirit as a unity becomes stripped from its memories through that white tunnel. So you lose your memory there as you are being drawn up into a space or an area where you are then recycled to come back in again. Literally, that is how it works. Um, so I think that that is part of a belief system or a structure or a construct that locks people into needing to be part of that sort of belief. So they put little flowers and little pretty nice little things around the idea of reincarnation. So it's cute
Yeah, yeah.
and love, you know.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
are people
that's what I
still here on YouTube, like posting videos every now and then, talking about how reincarnation is a good thing, and this place is like
yeah,
a
it's
school.
bad.
Actually,
Yeah,
yeah, millions of people are buying into that. They
yeah.
basically don't think for themselves. They allow others to think and decide what's good and bad for them. That's the problem, I guess. You
Yeah,
know.
no, you guessed right, because I actually think it's like a bad excuse for not taking responsibility for yourself.
Yes, yes, yes. What kind of school erases memory? Right? It's just
Yeah,
it's super bad. The
yeah.
whole
Murderers can just come back.
whole
Yeah,
concept is concept is laughable at best.
yeah,
Not I'm not
definitely.
I'm not sure how millions of people are watching those videos. If you go and type in how reincarnation is good, you'll see a lot of videos with millions of views. You know.
I've seen that, and I cannot believe. But then again, you know what they say? There's always a time and place for stupid.
Yes. Okay. uh, and they are ignorant in highest possible way.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe calling them
Yeah.
stupid is not right, I guess. They're
Maybe
just
I
ignorant.
shouldn't.
Yeah, they say they are ignorant at the moment. At some point, they will start to think, question their beliefs.
I agree.
And also about this new age people, where did they come up with these concepts like reincarnation being a good thing? Who said them all these things? Do you have like opinion on that? Like, why are they doing this?
So New Agers, for one, are people that choose not to do any internal work within themselves. I actually think that the whole concept of it came from the 60s with the counterculture movement, the hippies and all of that. And the belief of that was to perpetuate Eastern traditional belief systems and religions into Western culture. And so they started to use those examples to seed the beliefs of the many people. Now the New Agers are very much the same as the counterculture people of that time, who are continuously perpetuating that same template of belief system. So it's brought out a lot of confusion, and it also obviously contributes to something much larger, which is to have everybody sing Kumbaya under one tent type of thing, which is pretty much like what's going on in the world right now.
Yeah, they keep talking about ascension and getting to the 5D
Yeah,
world and things like that.
you can't
Yeah.
ascend.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay. Explain
Well,
on
you
that
can't.
subject.
Okay, so on ascension, you can't actually ascend. There's no, it's like you ascend every day, every moment of your life when you are reading something that's important or that is interesting. Your previous state of thoughts about, knowing something has suddenly changed to something that's in a better way. So, I mean, you once believed as a child that the garden gnomes painted the grass green, and now you know that it's not that anymore. You've ascended to believe now to know that it's chlorophyll. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying? So
Right.
that
Santa
is,
Claus.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
And some people
okay.
unfortunately want to still believe in that.
Yeah, also they are keep saying 5D. What happened to the 4D? Why are they skipping 4D?
Oh yeah, where did 4D go? Probably into the metaverse or something. Into
Yeah,
Facebook.
yeah, yes, yes.
Yeah,
It's like a beta version of their program. Yeah, let's just skip
yeah,
this version. Just go to the 5D.
yeah.
Okay. And also,
But
like, there was a photo about the frequency changing the Earth experiment. They were basically
Okay.
checking the frequency of the earth, and it was too high. It's not normal. It's normal was like 7 hertz, I think. While they was recording this one, it's too high. And what
Okay.
happened was these people who believe in 5D ascension, they took a screenshot of that and they just said, look, like we predicted, Earth is going to 5D, ascension is happening right now, and things like that. How do you look
Oh,
at this? This also had like millions of retweets and comments, and it got
of course,
everything.
yes. Yeah. I actually see the Schumann resonance as distraction from what is within. You can't measure consciousness. You cannot. The only way you can show consciousness is like, for example, what you and I have right now. We are having a communication and we are consciously connecting with one another.
Mhm.
And that is how people can see it, that it exists. Like love. I can't give you a measuring stick of how much love I should be giving or not. So,
Right, right.
it,
In
you
these
know,
in these times, people will only believe if it's measurable, quantitative in any way.
yeah,
It should be
yeah,
it should be in a graph or something like that. Look, it's here now. It's here, so it should be
yes,
true.
pretty much. Regulating.
It's
Mm.
it's, it's actually really funny whenever I go through Twitter and look at these people talking. Yeah,
Oh my
just
gosh, no, I can't go there anymore. I get upset.
okay, okay. Yeah, I think this is the main subject for this discussion. Where
Mhm.
are we exactly? Is this simulation?
Okay, so before I can tell you where we are directly, I have to
Hmm.
tell you a little bit of a backstory, just a little one.
Yeah, sure,
So,
sure. We
okay,
got we
so
got all the time. You can explain in full
that's
detail
good
if you
to know.
like.
It's good. Okay, so the world was once an open system, an open world. That was when the consciousness of mankind was brought into existence. Now, with this open world, there was direct communication with the original creator, and there was an expansion of spirit and of race expansion. Then that was an actual world that existed, a physical object thing that existed. Then it became hijacked. Like I said, everything pretty much gets hijacked, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Okay.
it was then shut down while those entities that came in here, and I've mentioned the Orion Wars before, and I'll bring them up again. The Orions they do exist. They have been functioning in this world as humanoid or whatever. They don't look as creepy and eerie as X-Files make them out to look, like aliens. They look pretty much human.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
and these things have been living within this world. After it got shut down, let's say the world became like locked down. That's a bad word because it's got bad connotation to it, but it was closed down. Take care of the problem that came in. It's like the body that closes a certain place in your body. If you've hurt yourself with a splinter, and your body encapsulates that spot so that it can protect the rest of the body. It's the
Mm-hmm.
same thing as what happened with this world. And then it had a change over to a second world, which was a closed system, and then a third one, which is a closed system in which we are within right now. And the changeover took place around 2017 to the third one. Now, we are living within a simulated overlays, which are like layers
Layers of
upon each, like
simulation.
a layer. Yes, layers, overlays, and layers, like a layered cake. And each of these layers are very much like strands or energetic threads that you're able to affect by impressions in your thoughts. And then it oppresses onto you, or it impresses back onto you. So whatever you're thinking, it goes into those layers and it plays itself back to you. So this is why I'm saying humans are they're their worst enemy because of their conscious creative power. You know, that
Yeah,
really does. It's
they're
like you're taking.
they are manifesting bad things.
Yes, the piano. It's like a piano wires. To explain it like that, that's how I've seen it. So basically, the world is going through its own simulated world all the time. It's not a physical round planet that we're living on.
Yeah,
We are
yeah.
living with something that looks like a like that, like
The
like
egg
that.
theory, the universe being like a cosmic egg theory, I think.
Yes, yes, and we are in that an egg which looks like an eye because it's got the power of what an eye has as an organ, an
Yeah,
eyeball. So it's not fully round, it's not fully flat, it's not flat. Those who think it's flat, you've got to go out there and see it for yourself before you can actually decide it.
yeah,
Before you
yeah,
can just
yeah.
follow blindly. But
Yeah,
anyway,
the whole heliocentric ball theories, no measurable motion, no curvature, all the things in our sky, they look like spherical objects, but they are not physical, and lot of different things are happening. Also, it
yes,
seems like we are in the center of the universe, and like everything is moving
exactly.
around us. We are at the
Yeah,
center. So the whole heliocentric thing is laughable at best, you know.
in a sense,
For
yes.
yeah.
Pretty much so. Look, if you do pass out of your physical form and you pass over, you do go through some sort of solar element, which looks like it's pretty much slightly offside from where the plan the plane is, or the world is, or the realm that you live within. So yeah, it does pretty much look like that.
Yes, yes. And yeah, also about the Orient beings you just mentioned. What exactly are they like?
Well, the
Uh,
Orions are extraterrestrial entities that have assumed human form and live within the
so,
realm with humans.
does that mean they are from far away from this world, this
Yeah,
simulation, or
they they
or or is it
they
like they
also
are they are from different dimension? You
no,
know,
they are experiencing this world in the same way that we are, because they're also trapped, except
so
they've become much more
they become
sneakier.
aware. So yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Okay, so like they are taking advantage of people worlds that didn't find out the whole thing. Is that
exactly.
okay? Okay.
It's like, for example, I know for a fact that they use the ability to use technology, which we know they do as elites. Some of them are elites and some are not. But it's very possible to cheat the system. But then you stay here. You don't ever leave. The way that they cheat the system and always to retain the knowledge is to walk out of their bodies into other bodies. They do that constantly. So
Uh,
there's a lot of that that can happen.
so is
That's how they are retaining the
it's
memories.
I think I heard about this one time somewhere. I don't remember. So what they said is like these elites they will find a young person, or like they will clone someone and then they just
Yes.
hijack the body, move to the
Yeah,
new person.
you're familiar with the idea of a walk-in. It's the same thing.
It's
Exactly the same thing.
exactly like soul hopping or like
Yes,
hijacking others body.
100%.
Okay, okay.
Exactly.
So one more
Exactly.
thing arises. So what happens to the consciousness of the younger person? So
It
this
either becomes assimilated if you are a person that doesn't really have a strong
mind.
yes, then you can become assimilated, or you can boot it out. Either way. Some people that try to boot them out or disconnect from them become extremely ill. I actually think that they become so ill that they can't move. They become paralyzed. I think some of those physical illnesses are related to people that have been trying to resist or try to boot out the entity. It comes into the same way as that snake, that serpent comes in. it comes in the same way as a parasite that comes into the physical form. It does exactly the same thing. They do the same thing.
Right,
They
right.
have just been using a lot of other things to make it easier to transition into another form by, for example, to keep their bloodline closed so that they can control who they are going to go into. Guaranteed, there is perhaps old Rockefeller, whatever, who's died and has already decided to go into his great-great-grandchild.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just,
quite possible.
yeah, yeah, why not? I mean, then he's in his kingdom. He will never, then that is how they will live forever. They
And
can't do this.
I
Yeah.
think they don't like starting over from the bottom again and again.
No, I mean, would you?
It looks like they saved the game after completing it, and then every time they come back in, they log in
Go
with their
play the
old
game.
password and
Exactly.
resume the process.
Exactly. It's like playing the saved game, playing the saved game over and over and over,
Yeah,
pretty
it should
much.
be really boring, I think.
Yeah, I think so. No wonder they do what they do.
Yeah, they get real bored and do all the stupid kind of things. A
Yeah.
normal person will never do anything like that. Even a normal criminal will think like, oh no, it's not morally correct. I shouldn't do that to kids or something like that. These elites will do. They are doing all the things to kids
They're
and
doing very
people.
bad things to people because they
Yeah, yeah.
can,
First
because it's easy to
yeah.
do.
Yeah, first time I
Yeah.
heard about all the things they are doing with kids, I thought it's like conspiracy and not real. The more we dig into these taboo subjects, it seems
Yeah.
very real. They are doing all the things.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
someone should
Uh,
definitely stop these people. Also, about the audience, can we differentiate them just by looking at them?
Yeah, you can actually if you, okay, so basically any person that is cut off from their heart, emotionally cut off, they are, some of them, the females do present themselves as mostly always blonde or platinum, but I see now that they've now changed a little bit. I can sense them like a mile away. I'm telling you, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I can't stand that frequency. But the Orions choose certain people to procreate their race through. They've been trying to take over or terraform this world now for some time. The entire system in which the world exists as a transactional process is based on what they brought in here. The way to buy things, commerce, and all of that stuff, it comes from them. So essentially, like, to come back to your question, they love blonde hair. Men are mostly the same. They look alike. They look a little bit alike. I can give an example, but then you must also realize I'm just using it as an example. But a person like, for example, Charlize Theron, she can fit that description
Okay,
because she is
okay,
gold in her personality. She is
right.
disconnected from it. Trying to find another example. Can't really think right now, but she came to mind as an example. It's very difficult to explain. I mean, if you watch the movie The Time Machine, Jeremy Irons that plays in there, he's all white, his hair's all white. You should be able to see it. It's a look for the first Time Machine
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was
I
made.
think I saw the trailer a few months ago. It's an old movie, right? Like
Yeah, it
2012.
is. Yeah.
Okay,
The
okay.
guy that plays Jeremy Irons that plays the character, that is typical of an Orion. That's what I remember from them. That's what
Okay,
I recall
okay.
from.
By your understanding, when do you think this Orion people got into this world?
They came in here while the world was still open because their operandi or modus operandi is to do trade and commerce and control land, control things. And that is how they perpetuate themselves, by taking over civilizations, taking over worlds, and then dominating it, and then taking it, assimilating it as if it's their empire. So they build their empire. As far as the last time I've connected with that information was when they had just handed it over to the second generation Orion Empire. So the second ones are, and the third ones are existing within this realm. It was only when they came to this world that the world had, once the world or the realm became aware of it coming in there, the system became closed. So the system was closed deliberately to contain them inside.
Okay.
Really.
Is this like automatic thing, or who closed this system?
Others, I don't know. Others closed it. I
Okay,
actually have a
okay.
very strong feeling. It's like, I don't know. I can't tell you. I don't know.
Maybe
Other
like
beings closed.
okay, some other beings saw these people entering this world, and they were like, okay, they are inside that closer thing.
And that's it. Close it. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Keep it
okay.
inside there. And
That
so
yeah,
it's not. They already know that we are existing within simulated layers in this realm. They know it, but they are just
too greedy
using.
and bad people, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah,
You know.
exactly.
Um.
They brought religion in, of course. That's
Yeah.
part of the transaction. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'm not sure where I found this, but the word itself, religion, means something like being in a military or something, you know, following
Yes.
orders over and over again, and like that. It's a religion. It doesn't sound
Yeah,
like a
very much
spiritual
so.
thing at all.
Yeah, it's very much a contractual thing. If you think about religion, it's the same as needing to allow yourself to be subjected to that control. Like you say, religion. It's like re-armying,
Yeah, get back
re-militarizing.
them.
Yeah,
They are trying to be
but
aware. Get back them into this. Hold
yeah,
them. Yeah,
yeah, why not?
it should be renamed as holding back, brainwashing.
Well, yeah, constantly,
Yes, yes.
constantly. I mean,
And when you explain the Orients being getting into this world, stuff like that, I just remember something. That
yeah,
there is a theory about the ice walls and lands beyond this place. Okay,
yeah,
so basically they are saying like world is like a extended flat plane with lots and lots of continents with ice walls around them, and then there are like hundreds and hundreds of these small worlds with different people, and
okay.
one or two different group of people became aware of what's the whole thing happening around them, and they
Mm,
try to hijack other these small circle continents, so
yeah,
when you talk about Orients doing this, it really looks like the ice wall concept. It's called
okay.
Terra Infinita, I think. There's actually a map about this. It's very detailed for some reason. I'm not sure where did that person got all the information, but
This
it's
is interesting because I've not actually I've seen the ice wall, but not not
okay.
not like so many not like all these little continents with ice walls around it. I've not seen that. I would not be able to give you any contents on it. I do know that when the Orions came, that as they came, the world was not what it looks like now.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was an open system. So, as I said, the open system could have had those things in place. I don't know. All I know
yeah,
is
yeah.
from the material that I was able to attain through a lot of deep,
Yeah,
you
most of
know,
the time,
road work.
most of the time there will be like at least a tiny bit of truth in the fictional
Yes,
stuff. Maybe the
yes,
author is too
yes.
afraid to tell the things normally, so he hides the facts
It's
he know
possible.
in fictions, right? I have the map. I'll to share it
Okay.
to you in a moment.
Okay, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, okay. Right here we are here. Yeah, this is the Terra Infinita map. So it is
Okay.
the known land that we are currently in. Okay. It also has the four continents that are in the world maps before 1800s. You know,
Okay.
if you look back at the ancient maps uh,
Mm.
with the northern parts, there will be like four continents in them. But
Yeah.
our current maps, world maps, will not have these things. They hid all this. Uh,
That's
yes,
interesting.
yes,
Makes sense somehow. It
yeah,
does make sense.
yeah,
I
yeah.
would not dispute it.
Yeah. Do you remember the Mount Meru concept? Like, basically, they said we have a magnetic mountain at the North Pole, right below Polaris, the North Star, right?
Okay.
According to that theory and these old maps, Mount Meru should be at this central point.
Hmm.
Yeah. Also, coincidentally, these are the places we see the northern lights, the green color lights.
Makes sense for it to be around there because of the electromagnetic frequency of the lights.
Yes,
Makes
yes.
sense.
Also, Aurora means northern lights, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yes. Okay. Now I'm zooming out from the northern point, and you can see lots and lots of circles.
Okay, that's interesting.
All these
Hmm.
circles are different continents, and they all have different group of people, all like different worlds with different kinds of culture, people,
Okay.
and whatever that is.
So what you're saying is it pretty much looks a little bit like the Vikings that believe in the Midgard, all those worlds
Layers of
like
worlds
that.
and things like that.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah,
That's very interesting because that's how I see the layers of realms over this world. So it
yeah,
does kind of tie into that a little bit, I think.
yes, yes. These Terra Infinite people said there are portals everywhere underneath our ocean, and also we can get out through the northern portal, somewhere
Hmm.
around Mount Meru, I guess.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, the person that set this up must be sure of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He's
See what
uh,
you're saying. Wait a minute. Go back there. You said there's land of Orion, top left. That's
top.
interesting.
Yeah, he basically named all the continents with interesting names. Land of Orion, okay,
Okay.
where is it? Land of
Okay.
Mars, Land of Angels, Anunnaki land, and Free Icelands, Osiris. Yeah, yeah, okay, Land of Orion.
Okay.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know
Okay.
what to say about this though. I can't sense the frequency behind it though, and I would normally be able to pick up on it. So
So
there's some
basically,
parts to it that feels
it,
right, and some parts feel no. That's
yeah,
my opinion.
yeah, yeah. He also named a few with wandering star names. There's Venus, there is Mars,
Yeah.
there is all kind of different wandering stars here. Even some
Yeah.
gods, ancient god names.
I see
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Hmm.
Even Lemuria, the ancient continent underneath India, that it's a sunken
Yeah.
world,
Hmm.
sunken continent. Even
Okay.
Atlantis. Okay. So basically, what's behind this theory is during 80s, there were a few fictional weekly stories on some kind
Yeah.
of paper. Okay. So that guy
Yeah.
wrote about getting past Antarctic ice wall and then continents that
Hmm.
we never, what should I say? Never learned
Yeah.
about in school and places. It's not in our map. That guy accidentally went outside through the, I wouldn't say portal, but it's like maybe like a gap in between the ice wall during the summer season or something like that. They called it the summer
Okay.
gates. It only opens during the summer. So somehow this guy went outside this wall and then met with a weird continent and met with all the peoples. And those people said they escaped this closed world and then got into that continent and started a civilization. Also, they
Hmm.
spoke clear English. No, that's how they spoke English. Okay, by according to the fictional story.
Okay.
It's called the Iron Republic, I think, if I'm not wrong. Um, yeah, it's called Iron Republic.
Okay.
Okay, let me see. Maybe there's a continent here somewhere named Iron Republic.
Very interesting.
Yeah, it's really really interesting and
Yeah.
the uh, okay, the Orion circles are very close to ours. Cyrus. Yeah, it's a really
Yeah.
good
It would be.
concept. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
really good concept. I'll send you this
Yeah.
map. Okay, it's actually really
Yeah. Please
huge.
do.
We can keep
Please
going
do.
on zooming in, and it will keep on showing all the different places. It goes on and
Yeah.
on.
Okay. That's interesting. So you know what the shape is, eh? I mean, the shape is like pretty much what I saw, but I didn't see all those little dots in there. The shape,
Yeah,
the entire shape of it is exactly what I saw in terms of the shape of the world or the realm.
yeah.
I
Okay,
was outside. Yeah.
at the end of the map, he just said unknown zone.
Oh
So
yeah, that would be the void.
yeah,
That would
yeah.
be the void.
This could
If
be
this
it.
concept is correct.
Yeah, it's a good concept from 80s, you know. I
Okay.
don't remember the author name and stuff, but I think it should be from another author from a few years back than that, you know.
Okay.
Just like now what we are doing. We took from
Mhm.
80s and then we are reinventing that with other concepts. Maybe that 80s guy took this concept from something older than that, right? It could be
Mhm.
from even older from that. And also the guy who made this also wrote few books about this. He talked about the person who is responsible for this map. He is claiming that there is a lady that came far away from our continent, these known lands, and then she somehow got information about all the other known places, and yeah, she is responsible for this map. And one thing I don't like about this guy is instead of just posting the data he got from all the different sources,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
cashed out. This is
Oh
like
no.
yeah, this is like a $20, I think, this map.
Wow. Okay. So
Yeah,
he got
yeah,
what he wanted.
yeah. He got pretty rich actually. Even popular TikTok people talked about this Terra Infinita maps. it's uh
Jeez.
it's okay to get some money, I think, but not like this. You should always
Yeah.
tell where you got the source from, where your source and all the data,
Yes.
right? You
Yeah. I
should
believe it's very important to do that myself. Many people don't do that though, which is
uh,
quite sad.
people,
Yeah.
some are greedy at all the wrong times.
Mm.
uh, okay. Anyway,
Very much.
I think I'm laughing too much at all these things. Anyways,
You can never laugh too much.
yeah.
It's
Yes,
not a bad thing.
yes. Okay. Where did we left? I don't don't know where we left it.
You asked me about the Orions, but I think we've covered the Orions.
Orions. Also, are there
I
other
think
other kind of people like Orions who somehow got in?
only the only ones that I know that came in were the Orions. Everything else that came in, I don't know because I only have a history that I'm familiar with them. As far as the reptilians are concerned, I think David Icke has caused damage a lot because there had already been beings that had existed like that prior to having the world being closed. And those beings that have existed here have been their natural existence in this world had, I would say, become corrupted. Perhaps some of them, perhaps not all of them. Like I said, not all reptilian beings are evil. What's very prominent in African continent itself, the entire African continent, are crocodile beings, which are not reptilian looking like how they show. So the crocodile beings, they are ancient. They have existed here when the world was still open. But they had not become so big as how they are now. And they love Africa for some reason. Maybe it's the weather, maybe it's
Probably the nature.
perhaps nature, yeah, perhaps it's easier. I've actually seen one appear to me like astral traveling to present itself to me like that. That is what, and it was telling me things that really was not good stuff. But anyway, they do exist. That's what I know. I've not seen any other beings. Many of those that people talk about are in different realms. They only present themselves on the very, very slim occasion.
Yeah, I got another question about the reincarnation cycle. If it's true, then doesn't that mean we are the ancestors who got stuck in this cycle?
Based on that, I was thinking about that same question that you asked before. And I want to say yes and no. I don't want to say fully yes, because if that was the case and the ancestors had lived here, there would be different ways of existence, unless, as we now know, the mind becomes, or the memory becomes wiped. So it is an open answer. That it's I would not say no or yes. I mean, I would say okay, maybe, perhaps. I know that I've not been to this world. My existence in this world was here long before the world became open, and even in then. And I lived in a world where the Orions came and basically destroyed the world. This is what I know about them. So based on the incarnation thing, I was not exposed to it until I had come to live here. And it's only here. It's only when the world started to close down that it became that there were these cycles of incarnation that took place. And that's just off the top of my head.
Okay. Interesting.
Like I said, you can avoid it. You can cheat it. You can prevent it. You can avoid it. You don't have to go through that. But then you're out. You don't come back in.
Yeah. Okay. To your understanding, what exactly happens if someone escapes the cycle, reincarnation cycle?
Well, then it's what happened to me. You live within an existence that is basically, it's like your existence is not measured by the physical realm, yet you do have an influence on it and not. So it's like being so far ahead of everything that it looks like you've gone back in time. That's so far ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
Basically. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I have another question about the holographic reality. Why does something always goes wrong when we are trying to expose something about the matrix system in general?
Well, in general, like I said, when we started this interview, man is his own best enemy, his own worst enemy. Because if you are wanting to present something that's very important, like when we wanted to do our interview before, and you told me what happened to your machine.
Yes.
I said to you that there are two things. Number one, it could be interest from other sources, other forces that want to prevent it from happening, because they know that the information is going to expose them, which I think it is. And you also get people that don't want to hear things, and that can also happen. So yeah,
right. They don't want
does
anyone Yeah, they don't want anyone to talk about this. They might wake
Yeah,
up people. It's not good for the
yeah,
whole system.
exactly.
Okay, okay. And interview with Lalita, she said something about reptilian beings, right? The entities with the scales, physical scales, I think.
Yeah,
So
those would be the reptilian beings.
yes, yes. So what are they exactly? Are they also like Orients who entered, or
No,
something else?
no, Orions don't ever choose any other form other than a humanoid form. You will find those that come with scales, or the reptilians that come with scales, are rogue, perhaps, that they've come with the Orions because the Orions use them as force to do what they need them to do. They're like bodyguards for them because they are willing to be in that contract with the Orions because they also get something out of it.
Mm.
So if you're looking at so the reptiles, I'm not going to call them okay, they are Alpha Draco, or I'm going to call them this or that, because they can be any type class. It's like a type of human. You can find any type of race or class that would distinct, or that would show what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So Orions are, as far as I'm aware, um, never a reptilian. They are also not gray, but they may come from the Orion system itself, that they may be grays or regalians or reptilians. They might be in that way, but they
Okay.
are not, definitely not Orions themselves. Orions do not mix blood at all
Okay.
in any form.
This Orion class controls
Yeah.
other reptilians and other beings and make them work for them.
Yes.
Okay, good, good,
Yes,
good.
they do.
Right, right.
Maybe they didn't wanted to have an answer on that question.
Might be. Are they watching us?
All the time, I think. Are we
Okay,
watching
okay.
them all the time?
Maybe, probably. So when you mentioned that you can feel these entities, I think
Yeah,
it's something related with toroidal field that we used to have. The
yeah,
very term toroidal means it's spinning, right?
yes,
There's
yeah,
energy around each of us that's spinning. People basically who are not afraid of new things or something like that, they are open to new stuff. In a good mind, the circle will be the toroidal circle will be huge as possible. If
yeah,
something comes into that field, they can sense it.
yes,
Okay. Basically, if you look at someone, they are walking past you or something like that. If you look at someone, sometimes they will look back right straight right at your eyes, even if there are like a lot of crowd going on. They
yeah,
can sense us. Even normal people don't have to be
mm,
like huge meditation or yogic people. Even normal people can sense that, right?
yes,
This
yeah,
toroidal thing seems to be very real, right? Maybe that's how
mm,
you felt the beings.
yes.
Yeah,
I would agree with you.
that's my concept. Maybe it could
It's a
be
good
right.
concept. I agree with that. That's how it is. Yeah.
And okay, let's continue with the questions. Something interrupted like a few minutes ago, and
Mm,
yeah, I think in my country and region, people don't usually talk about all these different entities and all the
okay,
beings entering the simulation. No, this is like a very
okay,
new topic to my people. Maybe that's why
okay.
they are trying to stop or something. Could be.
Is your internet censored
Mm, like
to some
to some extent, yes. If I talk about the heliocentric model or like the COVID scam, they will censor it
Okay.
a little bit. Like a few years ago, I was recording a video about vaccination and all the toxin stuff in that. Okay, I made a whole list about that, and I was
The
about
ingredient is the facts. I saw that one.
yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
ingredients. Yeah.
ingredient video. So while I was about to start to record, there was a huge disturbance. I had to go outside and try to fix that, and then come back again and start from there. So yes, every time something major happens, there will be a disturbance. Even after uploading, they might take down. Few of my videos got banned by YouTube.
Hmm.
Yeah,
It works. It seems to be fine on Odyssey though. You're okay with Odyssey though.
yes, I do have Odyssey, but it's just auto posting there. I connected Odyssey and
Oh
YouTube.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
they, so what happens is whenever we upload a video here, Odyssey will copy our thumbnail and title, description, and the whole video.
yeah.
It's like a backup actually. There will be a backup in Odyssey no matter what happens. Even if YouTube take down the video, the copy
It's
down
still
will be
there.
there. Yes,
Yes, you
yes,
know what? Yes, I agree because I had like so many videos. I have a shadow banned channel, I think, because I did
probably.
yeah, yeah, same thing. Yeah,
Yes. We should always have like a secondary site. Shouldn't trust with this mainstream stuff. YouTube, for
yeah,
example.
yeah.
Yes, okay. Let's go back to the questions. So we talked about holographic stuff, chakras, reincarnation. Okay, and what do you think about internal monologue? There's always some voice in our head. Is that really our own voice? Is that our own thought or something else inside us? And also, why is that always saying something negative? Okay.
Well, I can tell you that the internal monologue, for starters, will always say something negative because you may feel there's a part of you that you have not that is not good for you, or that you may have a low self-esteem, and then they go for that, then that becomes highlighted. So there's two sorts of experiences with internal monologue. You'll know if it's voice to skull technology used on you when the communication in your inner thoughts is done with technology. You'll know it because normally there's temperature involved and the head becomes hot and the body goes through physical changes, as well as because it's some sort of beaming at the person. And then there's also the internal monologue, which is related to the consciousness itself, which is related to the ego and the complex in understanding the self or the psyche. And if it's always negative, it is always related to something that perhaps needs to be cleared up within the self. So, for example, I'll never be good at X, Y, and Z. And I hear this inner monologue tell me this all the time. And no matter what I do, it'll always be like, no, you're always going to be bad. You always talk to yourself
Yeah.
like that. But if you stop and you actually go back, you backtrack, and you really track as far as you are able to when you were told as a child, perhaps even in utero, that, oh no, I'm not going to have a good baby, or no, you're not good because you have to do this, you have to tidy up your room, and only then will you be a good person or a good boy or a good girl. Then it sticks inside the mind. Remember, I said to you that the mind completes the rest of the picture in religion,
Yes, right.
specifically if it's something that's mystical. And so the same thing experience that you have as a child. So most of these belief systems or these monologues are related to belief systems that we pick up as children or whatever. And it
Right.
stays.
Yeah.
You can clear it, you can get rid of it. It is possible to do that.
Okay, it's back again. Back again.
Okay.
Okay. If you don't mind, can you restart that
If I tell
sentence?
you again.
Yes.
Okay.
You were talking about
So,
the how you clear the internal voice.
yes. So remember I said about the mind that it's belief systems. 90%, I think, of everything is based on a belief system, which is presented in some way, shape, or form.
Okay.
Basically, self-talk, negative self-talk is related to a belief system of the self, which If it's not true, you can get rid of it. Let's say there is something that's beaming into your head. Granted, it's not physical. Granted, it's not a chip of some sort. Okay, let's just keep it simple. If it's something that is deeply emotionally internal in your thoughts, you can actually literally revoke the agreement of believing that you are subjected to that type of internal monologue torture. You can revoke it by saying it. I revoke the contract of agreeing that I am subjected to mental torture. And you keep doing it and it will go away.
Right,
It's
right.
gone.
Okay, okay.
Right. It's that simple.
Yes, okay,
It's
okay.
probably what people don't really like, because it is really the simpler
Self,
version of it.
it's because of accountability, I guess.
Maybe you should test it out. Test out what I've just told you. Try it. Challenge me on it.
Okay, challenge the internal voice.
Okay?
Okay, okay. So I have a different question. It's related to reincarnation stuff. Okay. In Hinduism, there is like different epochs, right? There are
Yeah.
good times, like 500 years or so, and then bad times, another 500 or some so years, and then it will be like happening over and over again. They call it Kali Yuga and other things. All these years,
Yeah.
each and every time one ends, another one will begin. When I first looked into it, it was like, okay, Kali Yuga is the end, and it's the bad one. When it ends, it will be like good things will happen after this year. It will be straight good things, no bad thing at all. then then I looked into all the different yugas, and it was like, no, it's not like that. It will happen again. It's a big circle. So why is it like that? Is this
Okay, so that is a good question, because that I took some time to really dig into, to focus on it. And what came to me was that the reason that those cycles are the way that it is because it correlates to the seasons of the world, of the realm in which you exist. So those cycles have been there before, let's say, the world became closed. It's just become more concentrated now. So I do agree with the way that the cycle is existing, but the cycle was that much wider when it was an open world. The cycle was that much longer and further away from itself. Now
okay,
it's
okay.
become much more condensed, and or over the ages, and your experience in it is that much more. It's that much more impactful
More
on you.
intense.
Yeah, it's like magnifying glass on you. Yeah.
Right, right. Okay, and interview with Lalita, she said astrology and horoscope are like almost, she said it's like a bad thing, right? It wasn't there a few years ago, few centuries or so. Before that, there were no horoscopes, no alignments that can affect us.
Yeah.
And also she said there is a old book that says these entities came inside this world. She even read the
Okay.
sentence, I think. I don't remember all that, but uh, yeah, okay, to explain that part about the
Okay.
horoscope.
About the horoscope. Okay, so I'm not an astrologer, but if I think on it and allow my thoughts to go there, what I pick up from it is that it is correct that there was no horoscope before, and it lines up with the same explanation that I've just given to you about the
Yes, yes,
cycles.
about the closed stuff
Yes.
and the cycles and these
Yeah.
Orion people.
Yeah. It lines up with that. So the horoscope would have existed once the world became closed, so that there's much more of an alignment in terms of activities, so that it's much more controlled.
Mm-hmm.
That is what
Right,
I would assume.
right, right, right. The more we look into all this astrology and stuff impacting us, more deeply than we actually thought before.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's like before few years, I would look at astrology and stuff like that. Okay, nah, it's just this and that. But now when I look at this, it's more. It takes more serious
It's a
turns.
little.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what? You're right, because it's a little bit more intense these days. It wasn't like this before.
Yes.
It's like
Yes.
something's changed. Does
Also,
make sense.
yeah. One more funny thing about this is astrology doesn't work on heliocentric globe models. Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Sun is just a gas, burning gas ball in space that cannot impact
Okay.
us in any form. If
Yeah.
someone believes in heliocentric model, you cannot
Yeah.
be a globe believer and an astrology follower at the same time. Heliocentrism is materialistic to the core. It
Mm.
cannot be spiritual in any possible way. Right?
Yes, it makes
people
sense.
should people should understand the weight of astrology and spiritual knowledge. The
Mm.
people who understood these ancient stuff, who wrote about this, they know earth is at the center, and all these things are revolving around us. They at least have the
Mm.
basic knowledge about that. People
Yeah.
nowadays, astrologers, modern astrologers especially, they be showing the globe model in their thumbnails and then pointing at the spherical planets. Look, Venus here, this is here. Something is about to have to happen to this sign. if you
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
if,
Yeah.
if you are a Cancer, look, Venus is here, it's in retrograde, so something going to happen to you.
Belief
Yes, yeah.
system.
If someone is saying they are an astrologer, if they truly believe in the science behind that, they should let go of the heliocentric model and then look into the original source, the original knowledge behind the astrology. People who wrote about astrology, who left behind the knowledge they know, they wrote about the stuff. They wrote earth is
Mm.
stationary, and everything is revolving around us. Even in the Hindu temples nowadays, there are solar clocks. The very thing the solar clock means, sun is revolving around us, earth is stationary. That's how that simple shadow thing works. Okay.
That
And
is very yeah, yeah, that's true.
sun.
You see, what I do is I explore information that lines up with what I'm sensing from the frequency if I'm looking for something specific. So I'm willing to entertain or to allow your model that you're explaining because it may line up in other ways for me if I go in deeper into it,
Yeah,
investigating it.
yeah. What
So yeah.
happened? Yeah, what happened was like everyone believed in stationary flat Earth model few centuries ago, and suddenly, like 500 years ago, they came up with this ball model. Okay,
Mm,
and
yeah.
then the scientific people started to theorize, and then hypothetically they be starting all the equation and doing all the other kind of crazy things. What happened
Mm,
was people started idealizing these scientific what should I call
yeah.
these theories. They started like scientism. They basically
Mm,
started a religion back then 500 years ago based on this model. They started
yeah.
worshipping it. Every time they find something wrong with the heliocentric model, they will fix it with the new hypothetical equation.
Yes.
they will
Yeah.
never they will never check the original source model. Even if you ask why the sun and moon looks like same in our sky, why they are
That
very
is.
same
Yeah.
size. If you ask this simple question, they will say,
And it's always the same face.
yeah. If you ask that, they
Yeah.
will say, sun is 400 times bigger than moon and 400 times away from moon, so they both look same. Or why are they trying this weird thing? Why don't they just say sun and moon might be the same size? Why? Because it questions their belief, their model.
Thieves.
Yeah,
Mm,
it will be
exactly.
really really hard for them to equate what would happen if sun and moon are close. They have to change all the equations for other wandering stars and things like that. They don't want to do that. Simply they will adjust the
Absolutely.
size and distance of the sun. If right. If you look into heliocentric model, everything they claim is really funny. They said
Mm,
the Earth had a wobble. You know,
mm.
according to their model, Earth wobbles every now and then. So they,
Yes.
what do? They try to record the wobble? No, what they did was they looked at the sky and then saw, okay, see, there's something a change in there, so it means it is wobbling.
It's a wobble.
Yeah, they looked at the sky to try to record Earth's wobble. That's how they
Mm,
do things. There's no, again, I'll say there's no physical curvature, there's no motion, there's nothing there. The only motion they could record is the ether movement we can record. That's the only thing. There's a 15-degree ether movement. The toroidal field that I talked about earlier that we all
yeah.
had.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it seems Earth has a toroidal field and it moves 15-degree. Normal stars and wandering stars, or the sun
Yeah.
and moon, they're all going with this flow. In
Yes.
this
Yeah.
massive toroidal field. This is the only
Yeah.
thing they were able to record. And basically they hijacked this and said, look, this 15-degree is the Earth's rotation. Okay.
Mm,
Yeah. During Einstein's period, they tried to record Earth's rotation, motion, and other things with Michelson-Morley experiment.
mm.
They weren't able to record anything. The experiment failed multiple times. Only thing the experiment proved is Earth is stationary and doesn't move in any direction. Okay. So what did Einstein
Okay.
do? What did that brilliant guy that all the schools and colleges are preaching about him? So what did he do? He came up with an hypothetical equation. So
Mm,
he didn't do any experiment at all. He basically said, uh, we cannot record its movement in any way, but yes, according to this equation, it is moving. That's what he said in his uh, his
mm.
papers. Yeah, because he's a great
Okay.
popular guy. Like I said, it's a
Yeah.
scientism. It's a big cult there because he got all the followings and stuff like that. His
Yeah.
paper
You had
got
to.
through. His paper
Yeah.
got through, and then people resumed worshipping him because he saved the whole heliocentric model, right?
Mm,
People were worshipping heliocentrism that much. I'm not sure why, but
okay.
somehow that cult become even bigger now. Lot of
Yeah.
people, yeah, lot of people
Yeah. Well,
are.
it keeps being perpetuated by, when they show the globe, the globe, the globe, the
Yeah,
globe,
yeah, yeah. It's in front of
uh, in
the
the
teacher.
movies and
It's
stuff.
in teacher's table. It's in library. It's in movies. It's in news
Yes.
channels.
Like,
Everywhere you go, you'll be shown this picture. Look, you are here. Do not think outside this ball. If you think
yes.
outside this model, you are anti-scientific.
Mm,
If you question this, you are anti-scientific, and so you will be avoided. Some stuff like that.
yeah. And so it creates people that are functioning as if the world revolves
Yeah,
around
yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah. Even now, there are like a few people in YouTube and other places. They claim to be an scientific person or something like that, and
Mm,
they what they do basically is they will something like P900 or like telephotic camera, the
mm.
super zoom
Yeah.
cameras and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
have one here, but okay. What they basically do is they will point at uh, ISS, International Space Station, or at the other wandering planets, wandering stars. Maybe planets is not a good term. Original term
Mm,
for the planet is wandering stars. They are unusual stars that have their own path. They are not normal
okay.
circles, right? So what the
Yeah.
scientific, so-called scientific people do is they point at the International Space Station, and then they'll say to their crowd, "Look, it's International Space Station. It's moving in this path." So what we were told, the heliocentric model is true. And also, whenever they point at these wandering stars, they'll show it to the crowd and say, "Look, it's exactly like NASA or other space agencies say so.
Mm,
It looks very
mm,
similar." And so heliocentrism is true, and you shouldn't be questioning this model. Okay, that's what they are still doing
okay.
right now. Funny enough, there
Mm,
is a there is a band channel. Okay, I know it's I'm taking a long time to say, but it's actually funny. I'll just hold on. Okay, few years
okay.
ago, yeah, a few years ago, a band, not band, it's a shadow band channel. Okay, that guy is a
Yeah.
truth seeker. He questions heliocentric model. What he did was
Okay.
he dug up all the old NASA and other
Yeah.
files. Okay,
Yeah.
they will often publish all the old files to online, right? So this guy
Okay.
dug up into all this stuff, especially the satellite parts. Okay, and what he found was satellites, what we call satellites in the modern times, all have balloons attached to them. There's a huge whitish or some weird
Yeah.
color balloons, and then these balloons will be attached to the
Okay.
satellites. Okay, there will be
Okay.
a long
Okay.
distance, long thread or whatever it is attached to it. It's
Yeah.
a very long thing. And
Okay.
once it is put into the particular region, it will
Mm,
reach an altitude, and because of the wind in the upper atmosphere, it's like
yeah.
very similar to ocean currents. There will be ocean currents
Okay.
circling here. Very
Yeah.
similarly, there will be air currents in the upper altitudes. It will be
Mm,
very constant, like sun and moon. It will just the air
okay.
currents will be flowing right to left, something like that. It's very constant. If we get something
Mm,
up in there at that exact altitude, we don't have to constantly stare this thing and do anything like that.
yes.
It will
Yeah.
automatically follow the path. That guy found out that all the satellites had balloons, and if we look at these ballooned satellites at night time, we cannot see the balloon
Yeah.
attached to the satellites, right? Only
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
shiny metal parts is reflected by the light. That's the only thing we can see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even few months ago, there was a Chinese satellites in US. They found a satellite with a balloon, and then they shot it
Mm.
down. Do you remember that?
Oh, was that what it is? Yes. 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 I
Yeah, yeah,
remember.
it was everywhere. And then what US did was they were too afraid to say it's our own satellite that is
Yeah.
got out of the flow and
Yeah.
then went away. They cannot say that, right? So what they said was they talked with the Chinese friends of
It
their
was a spy balloon.
yeah, they talked with their NASA friends somewhere. I'm not sure
Yeah.
what it's
Yeah.
called in the Chinese. Their space agency or something like that. Basically, they negotiated with them and then come up with terms. Okay, just agree this. It's your weather balloon or something like that.
It's yours.
It's yours
Just
now.
say yeah. It's yours.
I'll pay with. I'll pay whatever you want. Just say it's yours and something like that.
Yeah.
And then they
Yeah.
did. I'm pretty sure they paid lot to make
Of course they did.
Chinese
Yeah.
people agree
Any
for this.
agreement.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. When normal people looked at this balloon and the satellite attached to it, they didn't know what this is. It's new to them, right?
Mm,
They've been
yeah.
indoctrinated with the heliocentric version of satellites. For them, it's if you say satellite, it means an super advanced piece of metal floating in space.
My
Right? So
God.
when they see something like this attached to a balloon,
Yeah.
it's very weird to them. They couldn't understand. Okay, what is a satellite doing with the balloon? Is it a parachute? Is it so? Yeah, this is what this is what happening to all these people. They couldn't
Yeah.
understand even if they saw it on their own
Yeah.
uh, state. It got viral when TikToker posted it, and I think so.
Yeah, I think it went everywhere.
People saw
Yeah.
it everywhere, and they still couldn't understand what's going on. Even the ISS, I'm pretty sure it's something is holding it up there in the air currents. There's a reason why we only see it at night times, because if we see it at the daytime, we can see the balloon, probably, most probably.
I
Right.
think you probably did. You didn't even realize it. Yeah.
And also probably it's super long, the threads that attach the balloons, probably that's why we don't see it, you know.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I'll share all the different videos I talked about that.
Yeah,
And
that'll be interesting. Yeah,
right,
yes, please.
right.
I'm curious
So
about that.
so what I was actually trying to say is the concept of all this all this talk is, if someone is really scientific, if he really want to know about cosmology in general,
Mm,
he should let go of the belief that heliocentrism is truth. It's the, you know,
yeah,
they are
yeah.
they are having like it's most like a belief, like a spiritual, I'm not sure. It's
Well, of course, there's a spiritual belief to it. It's like a religion. I mean,
yeah,
they've
it's a really, they are attached.
Christianity, parts of Christianity to it as well.
It's
The
they are
solar Christ, right?
yeah, they are attached to this globe model too deeply, and all these science shows and movies add hats on that, you know, the Star Wars and other movies, they
Yeah,
keep on adding that, you know, what would happen
yeah,
if we go to Mars, what would some other aliens come from other planet, you know. Even the
yes.
sentence, what would happen if alien come from other planet, in the other planet means it's saying that the place we live in is a planet.
Hmm.
It's a word game, you know. It's all a
Well, the word
word.
planet is actually, you know, what's interesting about the word planet comes from a French word planchette, which is a Ouija board. You know what a Ouija board is? It's
Ouija
a
board.
board.
Ouija board
Yeah,
that
it's a
oh, they talk
board
to
that
the
you.
spirits.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the more you know,
Yeah.
it's only getting more
That's why I call
hilarious.
this place the realm. I'm not
Yeah.
calling it planet or anything like that anymore. Realm.
Yes,
Because that's
yes.
what I saw.
Yeah.
Layers and layers and layers and layers, like on top of one another in a cake, like it looks like an egg, like a fat egg.
Right.
I just cannot unsee it. I've just always seen it.
Okay. Probably it's a good thing, you know. You can draw it and share it. Oh, it will. Other people will learn from it, right?
Yeah, well, it would be up to them to discover it for
Yeah.
themselves
If you
yeah.
decide to write a book in future, it will be really helpful for you to map out, right?
I'll think about that. You're the third person that's told me that.
Yeah,
I'll
you
take it
should.
as a heads up.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
should definitely think about that, right? We only have this knowledge about the past because people left what they know. Even if it's like
Mm,
allegorical or mythological stuff, they left us, you know, things. That's how we are learning from it. It will be really
yeah.
helpful if you make the same, you know,
I'll think
right?
I'll do it.
Yeah.
Hmm. Thank you.
And what do you think about the soulmate concept? Did New Ages come up with this, or is this like a real thing?
The soulmate thing.
Yeah.
I th I think so. I think the soulmate thing does exist because you are familiar with the person, you feel very strongly connected to that person, whether it's good or bad. Why do you have that connection? You know what I'm saying? And I think
Okay.
it relates to that toroidal field that you brought up, which is exactly correct because in it there is a memory of a recall of that connection with the other person.
Yeah.
Um, but I do not agree with twin souls because twin souls is like your nightmare of a narcissist. I mean, you'd meet a person that be a mirror of exactly you, and that person would do the opposite of you, right? Think about it.
Sounds very
So twin
weird.
souls, no. No, it's fake.
Okay.
Like I know you feel, I know there's a comfortability between yourself and myself because we've probably communicated about these things once upon a time in another lifetime. Think
Okay.
about it.
Okay. Maybe
There's a very, it's like we know one another, right?
yeah,
Think about it.
that could be a residual, some part of the old life still attached to the
Yes,
consciousness, and somehow it
yes.
escaped the erasing part. Yeah, it could
Well,
be.
I cheated. I can tell you honestly, I cheated every lifetime.
Yeah, that's
And I know I cheated every lifetime
okay. How are you so sure about that?
because I remember my lifetimes, all of them, and before this world.
Okay,
That's how I know
okay,
these things.
okay. Can you touch on that a little bit? No.
I'll touch a little bit on it and say the only way that you're able to disconnect from this world and to have access through it is by getting rid of the belief systems.
And
That's
also
it.
the fear.
Fear, yeah, obviously that's the first thing. But if you, yeah, become fearless,
Mhm.
don't be afraid of anything because everything that's here, I mean, I'm not talking about people that could hurt people. I'm not talking about that. Obviously, you must use common sense to protect yourself.
Right,
But
right.
uh, there are ways to, like I said, I've explained how to get out. You can come back if you wanted to, but you can get out as well. And it's in this video interview.
Right, right, right.
It's in the other videos. It's in all of my videos, actually.
Okay, okay,
You've
okay.
probably noticed something of that's why you decided to probably interview me. You
Yeah,
probably picked up on something.
yeah. Things that you mentioned in the interview was really interesting. That's why I thought maybe I should talk with her and then later decided. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah, okay. And following the questions, okay, what's your opinion about the blood over intent concept?
Blood
How?
over intent concept is very dangerous because it is like a very deep soul agreement. It is like a soul agreement. It is like you are taking a piece of your soul and you're putting it down there in lieu of what your intention is for the blood to do. So a very, very serious contract that can actually stay with you if you do it, and it can stay with you over lifetimes.
Even
And you don't ever
after,
know that you've ever done that. So blood over intent requires the essence of the blood that is within it with the words that are spoken over that intention to for that thing to happen. Like for example, I know that people do this, may tend to do this as love spells, for example,
yeah,
or
yeah.
stuff like that. It
Okay,
is a very dangerous contract to
okay.
do.
Basically, what they are writing on it on the paper is it says something about helping all the people or something similar to that. They prick their
Helping
finger.
people.
Yeah, yeah. So, something about
That is bad. That's like taking over the role of the belief of the Messiah to go onto the cross, to die, to bleed. That's blood over intent contract. It's the same thing. To do that in order to save people of a country or whatever is very, very dangerous. It's like you agree to become messianic. And to become a Messiah means you are susceptible to that belief pattern that was related to the Messiah or the Jesus that was the Messiah or the Mithras that was the Messiah, or there are Messiahs in every age.
okay, okay, okay.
So,
I found a picture of the blood orient, and okay. So
okay.
basically, what they wrote on the paper is, I intend to bring forth heaven on earth for the benefit of all. Okay, that's what they are writing on the paper, breaking their finger and few drops on that,
That's what they do.
and then they
Okay, it's
burn
bad.
the paper after that.
Okay, so I know that I did a book review just a while ago. It's on the Odyssey channel
Okay.
on the Kabbalah the Kabbalah itself as a cult, but with a book specifically that talks about that belief, that intention. And the intention is very convoluted. To bring heaven on earth is to basically collapse the belief structure of people and to then let people stay rooted into this world so that people can never have the option of leaving. So in other words, if I say I'm bringing the heaven onto earth, it means I'm collapsing it down like that. In other words, I'm compressing you into this world. You're never going to leave.
Okay.
So
Okay. So it means
that's how
like
bad that is.
okay. Right.
Right.
One more thing, talking about blood over intent. Do the Orients and reptile-like beings, do they have red bloods, or are they
They
blue
do.
bloods?
Some of them have red blood. Most of them have red blood. Blue blood is a concept that relates to the enzymes that are reduced by keeping everything in the same family. So the blood becomes weaker over time. So that's why they keep allowing certain people to come into a family so that the family can perpetuate and still be healthy. But it essentially runs out of iron and copper that makes it red. So in terms of extraterrestrials having different kinds of blood, as far as I'm aware, no. I'm aware that the Orions are within the humanoid form. They have red blood just like humans do, and the reptiles have red blood too.
Can they
Some have. Sorry.
I was about to ask, can they procreate with normal humans?
Yes, you're
Uh,
getting hybrids of Orion hybrid kids, like it's like no tomorrow. Yes.
yeah, it's a bit scary. Okay. So, what were you about to say before I interrupted?
What I was going to say is you get, like I said, you get warm-blooded reptilians as well. You do not only just get cold-blooded reptilians.
Right. What do you think about the NPCs in the simulation? Are we all conscious beings,
That,
or like few fill up characters with no consciousness?
okay, so in terms of that, the whole concept about the NPC thing makes it out like there are people without anything inside of them, that they're just part of the character of the backdrop, which comes from Dolores Cannon. I think that was her name, but I want to say take it with a pinch of salt, because if you find a person, okay, so you have a soul, which is your interface between your spirit and this realm. Then you have people with only spirit, and then you get people with only soul. So a person with only a soul is a person that is existing like an NPC type of person, where their lives are just literally set up to exist in a particular way, and they function in that process. Nothing ever happens to them. They're there. They're like these weird people that you would see. They would look at you, but they would never really connect with you. You can't really feel anything from them. You can feel their auric field looks different around them as well. The auric fields are very thin around them, with a type of radiating sort of paleness of light around them. It's almost like a smoky quartz color around them. Whereas people with spirit and soul connected together show some color when radiating from their auric field.
Right. The lady you mentioned, Canon, right? She's the one that got millions of views by talking about
Yeah,
Earth
talking a
being
lot
a
of
school.
nonsense.
Yeah, this NPC concept comes from simulation theory. Actually, they were the ones who talked about all this
Okay,
in the first Matrix movie. There will be a scene, right?
okay, yeah, yeah.
The guy will be taking Neo a tour, and then showing all the people, and then he will say like, "What are you looking at?" Something like
Oh,
that.
yeah, 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 yeah. I
Only
remember that scene. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
only Neo and the other guy was real, right? In the
Yeah, yeah.
in that scene.
But
Also,
she didn't she also write about it? She called it something else.
I'm not sure about that,
No,
but
I'm not either. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
her her concept feels very fishy, it being a school
I know,
and
I agree with you. It
she
feels like
she
she was
con-
possessed.
she constantly supported heliocentrism. She said there are other planets, there are the beings in other planets are coming here to live with us, and something like that. She supported the beings from other worlds living and helping for us, and something
Yeah.
I don't I don't yeah, no, I'm not buying that anymore. I'm not
No, I'm not. I've never bought it. I can't stand that
yeah,
nonsense.
yeah. The very moment she supported reincarnation, it felt like, okay, what is wrong with this lady? Why is she supporting it? Okay.
Yeah.
And okay, we talked about NPCs and is history a lie? The mud flood theories and all the great reset theories are coming back to us again. People are started to researching and talking about all this stuff. There are
Like
yeah, there are
Victorian, all that stuff.
yeah. There are like giant tree stumps in the world somewhere around. When you look at it, it will look like a big mountain, but when you get close to it, you can see the tree structure on the thing. It's just a giant tree
So
stump that is uh, throughout the time it become a rock, petrified. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Know from experience, from what I've seen in this realm, that uh, there are anomalies of previous worlds or previous timelines. Let me put it that way, historically. So, but I also know that if I want to demonstrate to you something is something else, and I keep bringing it up. So what I'm trying to say is, yes, to some degree, there is some truth to some of these things. Yes. But I also know that there are a lot of people that are desperate, that are trying to cook information to make it also fit in with another narrative. We're talking about all those people with the millions of subscribers that are basically perpetuating a type of belief system as well, again, yet again. But I'm not against, or I do not negate the fact that the world has had civilizations and periods in which it had grown through many anomalies.
yeah,
I do
yeah.
accept it because it makes sense. It's logical.
Do you remember the Dark City movie, the old movie in
I
90s?
do.
Yeah,
Yes, I do.
they
I
will be
do.
resetting the families and their memories, their whole house settings, right? Every day at 12 o'clock. Yeah.
Yeah.
The month
On the first, it's interesting that you say that. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
the mud flood theory and the great reset sounds very similar to the dark city concept. Yeah, we do see these giant tree stumps and really ancient buildings underneath current streets.
Yes.
In few countries they were like digging up old buildings, like reconstructing the streets and stuff like that, and they discovered a lot of ancient buildings. It was not even like a big site where people go to dig up and find ancient stuff. It was a normal street, people used to walk there. uh, it's a normal place, and then when they dig up and they try to clear the
Yeah.
place or something like that, they found ancient buildings underneath them. It was so weird when I first saw that.
Yeah.
I thought it was just for clicks. They are making up theories, but it was happening all around the place. Lots and
Yeah.
places. Yeah,
Yeah. I agree.
all the very weird concepts seem to be real. nowadays.
It looks like it, eh? It looks like it. Um, it's when we stop questioning it and just accept things. I think what they're trying to do with human society or civilization is to just accept things point blank because they've done it for so long. Remember, I said to you, they are essentially controlling the closed system because they can, and because people just give over and accept it for that purpose. I'm not saying every person in this world is doing that, but the majority of people seem to agree to certain things that are completely absurd. Which is why I thought that it was interesting of you to bring up the cycles, the Kali Yuga and all of that. I think that we're actually in the Kali Yuga or going into it because it feels pretty weird
Yeah, yeah.
these days.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
It's getting very
yeah,
intense, and
yeah, pretty much.
bad things are being normalized nowadays, and
Yeah,
people
yeah.
seem to go with the flow and not question anything at all.
Mm.
And yeah, at the last point, did you saw the old 90s film 13th Floor?
I did, yes.
Yeah, do you remember what happened to the guy who went outside the car and then kept driving for hours?
And he
Then,
kept driving and driving.
yeah,
Yes. Did he not
yeah.
drive through the sun?
No, no,
What?
no.
What?
What happened was he drove out of his city and then through a desert and then kept going on, going on. And then he saw the,
Oh,
what do you
yes,
call?
yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes,
yeah,
yes, yes. I got confused with
yeah.
something else now. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
His,
yeah.
yeah, the place he was living, that world was an incomplete simulation, right?
Yes,
It was
yeah.
very weird. And
This is what I think what there was in 2017 before it became completely shut off. Because it did feel like you could still pick up on natural occurrences in this world. Now it's weirdly closed off, more so than it was ever before. You can literally only touch on subtly on the threads of the realms. Yet they're perpetuating or advertising so much for astral traveling and NDEs. It's almost like I don't know, it's like they want to give people things to do because they are testing it out, perhaps. I'm not sure. I can't see what the
yeah,
logic is of it.
maybe they are doing something,
Yeah,
testing and stuff like that.
yeah, yeah.
Think we are at the end here. So
Yeah. This was
to
great.
put,
Thank you very much.
to put it simply, what would you say this whole holographic reality is about? Are they extracting something from us, or what's the point?
Okay, the point is, like I said, from the system was closed to keep the parasite
The
inside.
Orions inside, but even before that, we are in the grid, right? So what's going
Yeah.
on?
What's going on right now is people are becoming aware. People are becoming aware, people such as yourself and other people that are trying to spread information for people to wake up, which is what's happening. And that is busy um, disconnecting the controlling systems through beliefs in this world because it's based on beliefs. The entire realm exists on the backbone of beliefs in every single thing, including the gods that have operated here, the whatever else things that are existing here. So the same thing applies for people that believe that there's a that percentage of people have a lot of power. They've stopped believing it, so they're busy breaking down those beliefs that are held in place by the artificial simulated simulacra
System,
around.
right, right.
Yeah.
So do you believe they are extracting something from us in any way? Like,
Oh, they will, yes, they will always extract what they can from people. It's not going to stop until people actually stop it within themselves and block them. If you know what it is that is trying to extract from you, it can be energy, it can be ideas, it can be dreams, it can be anything. There's always some form of
It can
extractions
it can be fair,
yes,
right? Like
it can, if it, yes, can be fed, but you can resist it. You can stop it.
okay.
You can stop it.
So why I asked this specific question is it's
Mm.
from energy extraction concept. Basically, what they are saying is we are held up here against our will for some kind of beings. These beings extract energy from us, and not sure what they're doing with it, but somehow
Yeah.
they are taking it and doing something. These beings will make us come back to this place again and again. All
Yes. Yeah.
the light tunnel and stuff for
Yeah.
implanted
Yeah.
to this world by these beings according to the concept. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, that's why I asked these questions.
That
So
is that is correct. That is correct. Like I said, so let me explain. It's not just black and white. The Orions are using the closed system and its simulated layers to do this work on
okay,
people,
okay,
because they want to bring heaven on the earth. They want to bring it down so that they've got enough material or power or energy or electricity to generate a new empire. They needed 65% of this realm to agree and give a consent to it before the next thing happened. And it did 3 years ago. That was the announcement.
okay, okay.
However, I don't want to leave it on a dooming end at all. What I want to say is that if people understand the concept of this reality, that it is based on belief systems, that the mind needs to be understood, that if you're trying to give food to a mystical experience, like, for example, H.P. Lovecraft, that created the belief of the Cthulhu, this black thing that lives in the dark sea and will eat you up when you sleep or whatever. If you keep believing these type of things, you create it, you bring it forward into this world. Like I said, the demiurge was, I
Manifested.
saw the demiurge, I met it, I looked at it, I slapped it. It doesn't like me, I don't like it. It is only a spirit.
Right,
It is
right,
only a spirited entity that was given God's status, I
right.
believe.
Okay. Something just came to my mind. Okay, it's like
Right.
it's an there's an anime called Mob Psycho 100. Okay, basically in this anime world, the evil spirits will be manifesting themselves if certain number of people believe in their existence.
Yes, it
Okay,
is correct.
yeah, the size and the power of the being, the entity, it depends upon how many people and how much they believe in this. If the belief reduces, if people stop about that and they forget about that, the entity will be gone, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
correct.
yes, it's
100%.
it
Bang
sounds
on.
100. Okay.
That is what's going
Right,
on.
okay, yeah.
Look, like I said, we would need to protect ourselves the way that our lifestyle is. If it's a clean lifestyle, make sure your conscious thoughts are always, that it's clean. Um, Naturally speaking, you would want to need to protect yourself. I mean, you put gloves on your hands when you take out hot food from the stove. So you would need to do the same thing while you're operating in this world. I'm not saying live in fear. I'm also not saying live in defense.
Be
I'm saying
mindful,
just
right?
aware.
Yeah,
That's all. That's why you can literally, and then of course you're going to need to just mind yourself where you live in whatever country you live to protect yourself physically as well. Use common sense for that. I mean, you're not going to run over the street because you don't see the cars,
right,
that'd be
right.
stupid.
Yeah, okay. Okay, come. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
but
We are getting to the end point
yeah,
now. So if someone is interested, some viewer likes to get more about all the stuff you talked about, where can they start? Do you have like a
But,
suggestion, like a series, movie, or like a book?
well, you've reminded me to write a book, so I'm going to be writing a book. I'll put it together.
Hmm.
But my work is on YouTube. I will give the link to you
Okay,
when
is
we're
it the
done.
Promethean, and
It's
there's a
the
Odyssey,
Promethean.
and there's a
Yeah,
Odyssey channel, and
yeah.
yeah, yeah, okay, okay. I think
That's it.
yeah, that's it, and yeah, very interesting conversation. I
Thank
didn't.
you.
Yeah, thank you.